Agile definitely drools, but does Waterfall rule? Let's get into it. I'm Chris Athanas. I'm a KMP developer. Tech support's coming out Tuesday. They promised me. They really said this time it's for real, for real. We'll see. Today I'm going to be reacting to Brian Lunduk. He's a base tech reviewer. I like most of his stuff, but I'm a little bit older than him, and I've maybe seen more environments than he has. I'm not sure. It's not clear, but I saw this video today, and I wanted to respond to it in the context of adventure-driven development.
Am I either most use or most like? James Taylor asks, what's your thoughts on agile development framework? I can't really think of what we call it. Methodology. It's the agile development methodology, Scrum, baby. Something like that. What's my thoughts on it? I'm not a fan. As someone who has
Me too, but for different reasons.
been a Scrum master.
Oh, that's sad to hear. That took him down like 3 pounds in my estimation. What were you doing as a Scrum master, dude? That's getting on the hype train. I'm glad he's not on the hype train fully now. Well, he's got his own viewpoints on things, which I appreciate. But Scrum, you took on the Scrum master role. Really, you're gonna shave some points off. You're gonna be the go-between between the team and management. You're gonna be the guy standing up for the meetings.
I hate that phrase. And worked on many teams that have been agile over the years.
They called themselves agile. Now the thing is, I don't really think they were agile. The way you're talking about, they were doing this agile TM certification, registered trademark licensing, week-long certification, agile transformation course that we come in and add a few Scrum Masters and product owners and just change some titles around and whip-a-ding-ding-ding-doo. All right, give us to pay up, make sure the check clears. Okay, we're out of here. Good luck, guys. You got this. I trust you got this. And they think that that's an agile. That's not agile. that's this weird thing that people eventually now call agile, is that monstrosity, clusterfuck of crazy bullshit, sales-driven, conference-driven, book-driven, certification-driven, hype train cargo cult bullshit of how to structure your development process. Is not a production process. It's a knowledge process. Complete different category. You can't put a process around it because it's not where it comes from. Let's hear what he has to say.
I don't like it overall.
Well, that thing I just mentioned, he doesn't like, but what he's about to say is actually true agile. He's calling it waterfall, and I'm saying, sir, you need to go back to the source. What did the guy that invented the term waterfall? What did he come and say that that's not the way to do it? That's a production process. It will not work in knowledge work. It won't work. But he's calling what he's going to call waterfall is actually what I call adventure driven. And let's get into it.
It's a great way for people who aren't actively involved in engineering to feel like they're in control of engineering and they're being really on top of it and moving quick.
Yeah. Because they got all the charts and all the Jira. Oh, you got to use Jira. You got to make sure all the buttons and widgets and little things. It's basically a to-do list, guys. It's a to-do list. Like I can do it on these little yellow notes here. It's just a freaking to-do list. And they make it seem like, oh, how many points is that? You have to lie to us. You have to guess and lie and put your ass on the line for that lie. It's like, we don't know how long it's going to take. We have no idea how long. What's the deadline? Okay, you got a month. Like in Adventure Driven, you get the deadline right up front, and we don't discuss time anymore. We already know how much time it's going to take. We have 1 month, and we're going to do our damn bestest to get there. It's going to be 6 weeks. It's going to be 6 months. We're going to show you stuff along the way. And yeah, we might get canceled along the way if it becomes obvious that we're not going to make it to the end, instead of going all the way to the end and figuring out, oh, nobody wants this. We got to avoid that stuff. These big corporations, they have the luxury and the ease and like a buffer for all their errors and mistakes, having a zero interest rate policy, ZERP policy environment where they get money for free. Yeah, you can make lots of mistakes, but we're not going to be in that phase for a while. We're in this other phase where you actually have to have real customers. The customers are the people buying your product, not the people on Wall Street, not the VC. The VC is not the customer anymore. The people doing the DEI programs are not the customer anymore. Now you actually got to find a smaller team that's more focused, that's going to be doing adventure-driven stuff to find a problem that they can solve with their small size that allows them to actually have the real customer be the people paying for the service and fee, not the VC round 6, or what do they call it, round D.
fast, when in reality, they're really probably not going to create anything all that great. I am personally a much
because they're still trying to do a production process. They're trying to stay out of it and manage it, right? Whereas in adventure driven, everyone's involved. There's no managers, there's no product owners, there's none of that stuff. You're either on the team pulling tickets, you're doing the websites, you're making phone calls on the sales calls, you're talking to customers, you're building Facebook groups, you're managing those groups, you're doing posts, you're making memes, you're creating UI sketches. You're trying to figure out how can we, like, talking to people on the phone, the customers from the user groups that are interested in the thing that you're doing. You're talking to them. You're creating conversations, making data, like creating UI sketches, doing UI flows, photography. All this, you have to do something. You can't just sit there and look at the Jira burn down chart. Can we shave a couple points off number 684? Yeah, number 684 is coming in pretty hot. I really need to shave a couple points off. That's what I do as a Scrum Master. I'm the master of the Scrum. Even though that's totally the Toyota production line process for Toyota, for Japanese people in Japan, doing Japanese cars, not software in America with we haven't seen before.
bigger fan of good old-fashioned waterfall style development.
Okay, what he's calling waterfall is what he's now about to call waterfall, and they describe waterfall is adventure driven. The no waterfall is not really a thing. The thing he's saying is waterfall. He's got a black box. He doesn't see the thing that happened behind the scenes, which is really sad. It's really sad. The fact that I have to come out and make something up called adventure driven to describe what Agile is trying to describe with 4 sentences. Come on, guys. No wonder everyone got confused. So where Agile is deprecated, it's no longer invoked. So adventure driven is what they were talking about, is what they're referring to, and it's elitist. It's elitist. Yes. Ooh, why is it elitist, Chris? Because you know what? To be able to go and do this run and find the cave opening, which is a problem you can solve, and deal with the dragon, which is all the customers' objections, meaning all their objections, you have to go through a lot of bullshit. One way or another, an engineer and the people and the business people have to be down in these things and see, like, hey, we bring up suggestions, and the people go, nah, that's stupid. We don't do that around here. That's not industry standard. That wasn't at the conference from the guy that was selling me the book and the license and the certification that makes me a good boy. I'm a good developer because I got a license, and I'm the Scrum Master now. Stop. Okay, dealing with all that baloney down the tunnels of fake Agile doing, and then actually wanting to make this run up here. Yeah, you gotta cut away with a lot of bullshit. And I really do think that some of these companies that were set up to do this stuff were actually trying to fuck people up. I think that, like, these big companies realize, look, man, we can't have that much competition. Let's flood the field with these fake certification, get these half-ass people to run interference for us, and get these people, because they can't figure out the process on their own, we'll give them a fake process instead and make them totally screwed up so we can zip ahead and dominate the market way even more than these people will ever figure it out, because they're never going to figure out how to make this stuff, because we got this smoke screen basically.
Because you go agile, and what you end up having is software that's just constantly being churned on, which is fine. And there are places.
Okay, so there's the churn on it, right? There's the feature ticket burn down chart stuff. I think that's what he's talking about here. But yes, you're always going to be improving it. If you're going to be listening to your customers, it's true Agile, you're supposed to do that, even though that was never done. Every Agile thing I've ever been on has been a straight waterfall. They already know what they want that done. They just want a couple bugs fixed. They want to know how long it's going to take. And the original team's gone. No documentation. And the comments are terrible. And the code is not structured like it was written in a sprint. Like, it's just all over the place. Looks like it's written by 16 different people. The formatting's all crazy. It's weird edge conditions. It's like, why are we doing this here? Why don't we just put this in why are we using an SQL database where it's just a key value pairs? Why are we doing that? Well, just don't answer, just fix the bug. I'm like, all right, man. So, and this is Agile. Yes, this is Agile. I'm a Scrum Master. I'm like,
for that. But when you look back in time, and you think of the great pieces of software, the truly great ones, they're ones that were created more waterfall style, either by a
what he's calling waterfall, I call adventure driven. Go ahead.
Small team or a big team, where they work on it and they work on it and they release it when it's ready. And when it's ready, they release it and it's done. Here's the
You You may see it when it's ready, but there's been a bunch of releases that happened before you saw something was actually pretty good. Oh, a whole bunch, man. So he's got this, still got this black box mentality. Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe this adventure driven stuff is super secret. Like all the industry standard stuff clumped on top. It's like, I'm just not doing it right enough. I'm not doing the Agile Guide manifesto right enough. So it's my fault. It's like, no. That was pretty much like the Agile manifesto was like the heart of I saw the ideas, but there's just not enough structure there. Some people want half cocked, and we'll just slam Scrum from Toyota in there. That'll work.
Floppies. Here's the CDs. Here's the final release.
Right. So in that case, yes, but there were so the floppies and CDs, yes, but there was a whole bunch of people who saw it way before you saw it on the floppy and CD. But trust and be assured that you were not the first person to see that stuff. Come on now. And
they don't then iterate on it for, with a new release every 3 weeks.
Oh yes, they did. I worked at these companies. They iterate all the damn time. You were always getting new. So it's something you find to fix. You're in tech support, so you're part of the testing crew. So how they did this back then is testing and tech support. It's like waiting for a call, play around with the new version of the code, like run through a list of things we want to see that done. That's how we did it. So we were all completely familiar with the software by the time the tech support calls were coming in. This is not mysterious. This is mysterious. Man, it's on some of those. I got so much information from working in tech support, of listening to customers and their problems. Hey, man, I got to tell you, most of the stuff you write in these programs, people don't use. People don't go down the menu hierarchies and look at your special plugin that you did three sprints on. They want to make sure that their files can open and they're backed up somehow, and that they can find them when they're lost, or if they get corrupted, there's a backup someplace. That's what they're interested in, because they need to get something out today. They don't want to go explore your damn software. They want to get something done today. This is really difficult to tell to software engineers who are enamored with the CI/CD pipeline and the build process and the number of test completion. Wrong.
Their sprint system or whatever. No, they release it when it's done. And when you do that, you end up with...
Right, but when is it? How do you know that when it's done? Because they've been showing it to people for weeks and months. You weren't the first person to see it. Come on now. This is back in the day when doing releases was expensive. Now releases are cheap. Super cheap. In fact, that was only a brief moment in time when we were distributing stuff on CDs and stuff like that. Before that, it was done electronically. So it was a brief moment in time where people had to get really strict about the releases. So when they put something out, it was there. They spent time on it because it was super expensive to release it again, because they have to send it out to everybody, and there was no BBS, there was no online anything. But now it's super cheap. So as soon as you get the thing in, as soon as you get the bug report, as soon as you can figure out what's going on, as soon as you fix it, as soon as you push it, the better, right? Why are we making a big deal? Release. It's like, fix the problem, add the thing, make sure you test it around until you think it's pretty good, then give it out there and see what happens. Holy crap, man.
With potentially masterpieces. You end up with...
Okay, masterpiece. For what? For who? For when? What is the context? Who is the audience? What is their politics? What is their perspective on this thing? Who are they? Are they the people doing a grift? Are they trying to get an ad spend somewhere? Are they trying to donate money? Are they trying to get a political campaign going? Are they trying to get some blue collar workers involved here? It depends on who the audience is, right? So what's a masterpiece? He's a little bit poetic. I get it. He's like, a masterpiece. It's like, dude, no, those things are, okay, all those masterpieces, most people aren't using them, right? They throw once a Turbo C, a masterpiece, a compiler. They just didn't have to do all the crazy stuff. Everything's integrated, got the debugger, everything right there. Do people use it? Yes. Maybe 5 people, 3 people. But there was a million people using that thing at one point. It was a masterpiece. Who cares? It was good for the time, for the people, for what we were trying to do with it, for how it worked versus anything else at the time. So this masterpiece stuff, he's trying to think of like a piece of art, and in some ways it is, but in most ways it's not. It's like a useful thing to do a thing.
Put some junk software too, but that's when you get the masterpieces. And I think that's an important...
It's all junk software, man. It's all software. It's all junk. What are you talking about? It's all bad. It's all bad. I know we might get a thing that works for time, but then it stops working and then this sucks again.
Important thing in software. You have to view
crazy.
software as not just a work of engineering, but a work of art.
Okay. Yes, it's both. It has to be both because most of it's not this engineering stuff. A lot of the engineering problems are solved. This computer engineering, operating systems, how do we do the algorithms? That's all kind of solved. We got libraries for that. So more of it's art. So art is like taste, context, culture, perspective, like who your customer is, who you're serving, why, when. Is now a good time to do it? Probably not. You're probably gonna miss it, but you won't know unless you try. Maybe you can catch up. Maybe you found a whole new thing just by missing that. You found something else. This is the art part,
and
the human part that you can't do a burn down chart on that one.
And when you have an agile development model, it suppresses that. It does.
Okay, so the Agile TM trademark Scrum cadence thing, yes, the thing that Agile turned into, terrible. But the core Agile idea, yes, we have to kill. That's why I've tried to revamp it with this adventure driven and clarify some of these things that people got super confused about and got fixated on. And they got sold on, right? So we got people, these destroyer creator types, who's in the sales funnel. And they see money. And these people are suffering. It's like my software is stuck. We haven't shipped a product in a year. Well, I got something for you. It's called Agile. And these guys are like, yes, we will give you certifications, licenses, conferences. We'll give you books, and we'll give you many reassurances. And all you gotta do is buy. Now it's up to you to follow it correctly. That's what the cult leaders all say. You're not doing the cult. You're not doing all the rituals properly. That's why it's not working. It's your fault. And these guys go, well, I guess I don't know. They haven't heard of Adventure Driven yet. All they ever heard is the Agile TM trademark. It's going to revamp their whole process, and everyone's going to be happy, and they're going to be on top of it. And pushing from below. No, pushing from the top. Like, get some pit plans.
Doesn't make that as viable. And so while there are places where having, sprints and scrum meetings and everything else, it can be useful. It can.
Yes, usually at the beginning when everyone's planning and talking a lot. But then there's a phase where you don't need to talk anymore. You just need to go put the thing together and start pumping stuff out. Then there's a time when you start talking again. There's no ritual cadence thing now on a production line. You better believe there is. But not in the knowledge worker. We don't know how long these things are going to take. We don't know if it's going to work half the time. This stuff is so garbage, so built on garbage. People's specific. There was open source. There's 5 guys working on some of these libraries that people rely on. Come on. And then when the product doesn't go and they dip out and everybody's like, what are we going to do now?
Overall, I hate it. It drains your soul and it suppresses the art of the software.
Yeah, the Agile, all that Scrum. It's mostly the Scrum stuff and the constant meetings and the burn down charts, and the Jira, and the time estimation. So that's why in adventure driven development, there's certain things. It's like, okay, Agile's always been arcades now, and that's your drama. And if you don't know what that word is, you look it up. Scrum is a minor detail at best. These meeting cadence, when you're supposed to happen, come on, we as software developers and smart people, we can set the meetings when we need them and don't need them. And when the product's ready, we'll let you know. There doesn't have to be a goddamn sprint. Time estimates are fantasies and pure technical debt. That's exactly right. What do you mean it's pure technical debt? It's like the moment you make that estimate, you make that guess, and you go in and try and find something else, that guess is not. You go back into the sprint and change the number for the point? No. That's a whole nother negotiation cycle. Do you know how annoying that is? Now the Scrum Masters, they love it. Oh, you're talking to me. I'm in charge. I'm in charge of the points. Or the product owner's like, yes, I'm the customer too. It's like, no, you're not. You're not the customer. So yeah. So if you don't understand what this is, you can look up the definition of what technical debt is, and you'll understand that time estimates are pure technical debt and also fantasies, pie in the sky. Who knows? We don't know how long these things are going to take. But if you give us a deadline, okay. So that's the thing about adventure. We just get rid of this completely from the beginning. You have a time period. You have this much time, and then we're not talking about time anymore. We're going to do demos. We're going to show our progress. And when we come up with stuff, you better be available. You better be available for meetings. That's all I got to say. Because once we're done, we're done. And you're holding us up now. By not being available, you're holding us up. Because we need to know whether we're going to go this way or this way. So that's the true adventure driven, which is sort of what Agile was trying to get at, but they didn't have enough. There wasn't four sentences is not enough. All right. I am done ranting, and my name is Chris Theas. Give me a like and subscribe, and I shall talk to you soon.